I wanted to talk about something many of us struggle with. When we really want to start something, but the moment we get closer to action, everything inside us freezes. Not because the goal isn't important, but because the path feels too heavy, too complicated, too long, too risky. I will share how it happened to me with YouTube and how I managed to make the whole thing lighter. Not perfect, not fearless, just lighter. And maybe this will help you do the same with whatever you want to start. So, when I first thought about launching a channel, it actually seemed exciting. It was several months back. I knew it could help me reach my financial and free time goals. I knew I didn't want to stay in my current job forever. And the idea itself didn't feel impossible, it felt doable. But everything changed the moment I wrote my first script and it was time to actually record. I froze. I suddenly couldn't sit down and press the button. A wave of doubts showed up at once, and I felt like I needed to answer every single question before I even started. So the excitement didn't disappear actually. It just got buried under layers of doubts, expectation, and voices in my head. It no longer felt like a creative experiment or a small step I could just try. It started to feel like something huge, something that demanded clarity, confidence, direction, and consistency from the very beginning. Suddenly, it became a mountain, a 10 out of 10 difficulty task, a place where every weakness in me would be exposed the moment I began. And when something feels that heavy, you don't even try to take the first step. You just stand there, looking at it, already convinced you won't make it to the top. And there wasn't just one reason, it was everything at once. I couldn't choose a language. I know three, and each one had pros and cons, so I stayed stuck. I don't have much time. Long video could take weeks. I knew I'd get bored or burned out. I assume it would take years to earn even a small amount. Years felt too long for me. I don't enjoy editing. I imagined transitions, effects, stock videos, and whole thing felt like suffering. And the thief, I didn't have a clear direction. Shouldn't it be reflective or helpful, scientific, freeform? I had no idea. But underneath all of that was something deeper, the fear of failing again. I've started around 29 projects in my life. Most of them ended halfway. Over time, I began to believe that anything new I started will fail too. And I was afraid of that moment of disillusionment when you realize you're not as good as you hoped. So the start became impossible. Not because I lacked motivation, but because the weight was too much. It wasn't just a big road ahead, it felt like a painful one, long, unclear, and not enjoyable. At some point, I asked myself a different question: how can I make it more enjoyable? Can this be easier? Not perfect, just easier. Can the mountain be smaller? Can I remove some of the weight so it doesn't feel like a 10 of 10 task? And that question changed the direction. I didn't magically solve all fears actually. I'm still afraid of failure, and I'm still afraid of disappoint myself. These things didn't disappear, but I simplified the parts that were broken me the most. Before I continue, I want to say that these ideas aren't only for YouTube. They can be applied to any niche or any goal if you ask yourself the right question. I'm not giving the 5-step guide on how to destroy procrastination. I'm simply sharing what was happening in my mind, and maybe some of it will help you move a few steps in your own direction. So, for example, I stopped trying to choose the perfect language. I decided to record one video in each language and see how it feels. Why not? And when I recorded in English first, I realized that I didn't need to make videos in other languages right now. So these thoughts just appeared in my head after the first video. And this is the good reminder that new thoughts and clarity often come during action, not during thinking. I wouldn't have had this realization if I had stayed in theoretical mode. So that decision alone removed weeks of overthinking. Really, I thought about this about 5 months or something like this. And then I made peace with time. If a long video would ruin my momentum, I don't need to make long videos. 5 minutes reflection are enough. They're honest, they're manageable, and I can actually keep going without burning out. And to make myself even more confident in this choice, I researched and found several YouTube channels with short videos and hundreds of thousands of subscribers. It helped me see that short form channels exist. They work and they're in demand too. So sometimes, if we have a strong statement in our mind like short videos don't work, we can pause and ask, is this really true? Or it's like only my imagination? Can I research it again and look for an opposite, or is there a solution? And I also realized I don't need a huge audience to earn anything. Even with a small group of a few thousand people, I can create something simple and helpful that doesn't require a massive channel. I don't expect my video to suddenly go viral and attract millions of views. That was idealization. Realistically, my channel may grow slowly, very slowly, and it might take a whole year to reach even the first 1,000 subscribers. So I definitely won't earn much from views. And that helped me ask a better question. If this is true, then how can I earn? What can I offer that works even with a small audience? I came up with a couple of simple products ideas. Sorry, but I don't want to share it right now. And that helped me believe that I could earn something even with a small audience, even selling $5 planners or something, I don't know, or anyway, that shift made the long-term path feel shorter and less hopeless. Because every first dollar will motivate me, and the faster the motivation comes to me, the better. So even if I earn $50 per month with my YouTube in, I don't know, in 6 months, so I will get some motivation. That's definitely. Okay, so let's go back to my fears list. Editing was another heavy part. So I removed everything that made it heavy. No transition, no fancy effects, no stock clips. Just me talking and some text somewhere on the side. That alone made the process feel possible. And the last one is about direction. I realized it's impossible to choose a direction before I've even tried anything. Right now, my knowledge about myself as a creator is a zero. I have only assumption and some imagination in my head. I have no internal feedback, no sense of how I feel on camera, what feels natural, what resonates. So instead of choosing the perfect direction up front, I decided to discover it through the action. Each video teach me something, and if you feel stuck with your own direction, one simple thing you can try is to record or do a small test version of the ideas you are considering, not even for publish, just to feel them. Sometimes clarity comes only when you experience the idea, not when you think about it. So all of this didn't remove that huge mountain complexity, but it made it smaller, maybe from a 10 complexity to a 6 or a 5, still a challenge for me, really, but finally something I can climb. And one more thing became very clear. A fear or a blocker is almost never one thing. It's a mixture: language, time, editing, money, direction, fear of failure, fear of disappointment. When all of them sits together in one heavy pile, of course you can start. Of course it's hard. But when you separate them, you can make each one a little easier. Not perfect, just easier. And when the overall weight drops, even a little, you will finally cross the line. That's what happened to me. I didn't remove fear. I didn't become more confident. I just made the road lighter. And once it became lighter, I finally started walking. And maybe that's the only real requirement for starting anything. Not being fearless, not being fully ready, but simply making the path light enough so you can take the first step. So, if your own mountain feels too heavy right now, maybe you don't need to fight it or force yourself through it. Maybe you just need to make it a little lighter, one piece at a time. And who knows, maybe the moment the path feels possible, even a little, you will feel something shift inside you too. And that will be your first step.